Greetings. Today I want to share with you a little bit about purifying the vessels after communion. So after everyone has received communion, what is left of the hosts, the consecrated hosts, are placed back in the tabernacle. If there's anything left of the precious blood, it is consumed, and then all of the sacred vessels that have been used for the Eucharist are carefully cleaned to make sure that none of the precious blood, is poured down the drain or anything like that. None of the hosts, all those little particles, make sure that all of them are consumed as they're meant to be. And there's an option to do this after Mass. For example, if there's a lot of extra chalices that need to be purified and it would take a long time to do it, there's an option to do that after Mass. I prefer to do it right there on the altar right after communion, especially if there aren't a lot of sacred vessels that need to be purified. Part of the reason I like that, somebody once told me they love seeing that the care that is taken of the sacred vessels as a reflection of the care that we take for Jesus and the care that we take for sacred things in general. Another person once asked me, why do we call it purifying? Isn't, normally when we purify something, it's like we're washing dishes, we're trying to make the dishes themselves clean, and we're trying to get off of them like whatever's dirty. So wouldn't that be implying that Jesus is the dirt that we're trying to get off? And I think it's the other way around, actually. It's Jesus himself that we're trying to take care of in a very special way in this purifying. And it's not like the vessels, I guess everything's unworthy of Jesus. The vessels aren't necessarily worthy of Jesus. But trying to make sure that we take this care of the tools that we use in the Eucharist and make sure everything, and especially take care of any particles of the host that are left over within the sacred vessels. So that's the purifying of the sacred vessels. During the time when the priest is doing that, the priest or the deacon, there's a prayer that's given to be prayed. I'm going to try to do this from memory. It says, "What has passed our lips as food, O Lord, may we possess in purity of heart, that what has been given to us in time may be our healing for eternity." Again, beautiful prayer there. We've consumed the Eucharist, what's passed our lips as food. We ask that we can possess that with pure hearts, and then we say, what has been given to us in time may be our healing for eternity. What we've received here and now in this world may make us pure for all eternity. So beautiful prayer that goes with that. While the priest and deacon are doing this at the altar, the hope is that everyone who's out in the pews is taking this opportunity for personal prayer, reflecting on what has just happened, receiving Jesus into ourselves and integrating that grace of having, Jesus is now living within me once again, and meditating on that and hopefully letting that grace grow and bloom within ourselves. For me as the priest, I also want to take a little bit of time for personal prayer after receiving communion. And my best opportunity to do this is after everything's been purified and I go back and sit down. Unfortunately, what often happens at this time is everyone else sits down and it gets really noisy in the church, and it's a little bit difficult to pray at that time. My personal preference, there's nothing that says you have to do this, but my personal preference would be that everyone simply remain as they are. If you sat down after receiving communion and you're praying, stay sitting. If you are kneeling down at that point, just remain as you are in personal prayer until we get to that prayer after communion. I, as a priest, maybe I should start doing this. Maybe I should just go and kneel down at that point, because as a priest, want to take that opportunity for my own personal prayer. And it's kind of distracting. So I'm contemplating maybe, asking my church community, hey, what if we just, all remain as we are and continue praying when I sit down and not make a lot of noise and not move around a whole bunch right at that point. Haven't made up my mind on that yet. We'll see what happens. So there you go. That is purifying the vessels after communion and an opportunity for personal prayer with Jesus. May God bless you all.